Welcome back to the Silver and Black Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Raider Will, and I am here with my misfit crew going pre-draft, baby. I got my boy, Matty B, representing TBH West Coast.
What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing good tonight.
What's good, fam? And now, representing TBH Military Chapter, the new and improved Old General Military Raider, James Bingham.
Yes, sir. We're ready. What I mean. We're out here. We're gonna lead the camouflage brigade, or at least I would like to say, more like the Shadur Sanders Battalion, fucking task force, whatever you want to call it, is what we're running today.
All right, baby. And I'm your host, Raider Will, and I represent TBH West Coast, baby. So, y'all, hey, it's pre-draft. We know a lot of rumors are flying around. Lots of talk. Raiders might move back in the draft. People are saying, hey, they might move back. James, our brother, says, hey, no, at 6, we have to draft Shadur. But the general at home says, no, we gotta draft Genty. Isn't that right, brother James? Because the
Yes,
wife is
sir.
over there saying, no, we're drafting Genty, and we know who really rules the house. It's the boss lady. It happens at every home. You can talk all the shit you want, but we all really know. So, yo, fellas, Matty B, let me get your expectations for what the Raiders are going to do. Are they going to move back? Are they going to stay there? What are you seeing? Let me get your vibe.
So I don't think if we move back, I have a feeling it's only going to be like one or two spots. I don't feel like we're going to move back 10, 15, any of those spots. If we go back that far, I think we've talked about it before. I think if we go back that far, it's more like a rebuild, trying to just stockpile draft picks, things like that. We're in a win now mode. Um, I think there could be a little smoke screen around the Genty pick with the whole Pete Carroll, like, we got to pick this guy. Now we're hearing rumors that Denver is wanting to jump up maybe to try to get Genty at 5 or whatever, maybe 4 or something like that. I can't remember which pick it was, but jump up
No,
ahead of
there's
the Raiders to get Genty. But I honestly, to tell you the truth, man, like, if that was to happen and they switch, with Jacksonville, I honestly tell you the truth, man, the best player available at that point is Mason Graham, in my opinion. And I think, like, a lot of people are saying that, yeah, we already have it already solidified. We have this and that. But I honestly, to tell you the truth, what won the Super Bowl last year for the Philadelphia Eagles? It was a defensive line, man. That defensive line could put pressure on any quarterback there was, and they've won a Super Bowl with it. So, I don't be surprised if that's the pick. So I don't see us getting Shador, in my opinion. I don't see us going that route. Not with the deal we just gave Geno. There's no reason to go out and get a quarterback at pick 6 after we already gave the money to Geno and we gave him the deal. It don't make any sense to do that. So I honestly don't see us doing that. In my opinion, we could. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. We could go Shador, but I just don't see it coming. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I sit right now with it. And then, man, yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. 24 hours or less than 24 hours. So we'll see.
all right, man. Brother James, let us know what you're thinking.
Well, if we're gonna take a lineman, I don't think it's gonna be Mason Graham, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay a big fat objection on that. If we're gonna take a lineman, I think the only lineman we're taking is gonna be Armand Mem Bow because we need offensive line help. We don't know what's happening with Colton Miller. Who gives a fuck what's gonna happen with Colton Miller at this point? It's all hearsay. Fuck it. If we have no other option, if we're not set on Colton Miller, I think Armand Membao is a good way to balance us out a little bit more. when DJ Glaze and Jackson Powers Johnson have already been playing complimentary football.
All
I
right.
almost said offensive line, but I wanted to hear what you had to say. So thank you.
All right. Yo, guys, when we look at it, all right now, your brother James gave me a call earlier. He said, Will, what are you seeing? I'm really thinking if we move back, we had Brother Cisco on here last week. The kid out of Michigan, the corner, Will Johnson. I think, bro, I think that's going to be a real possibility. Now, for me, there are some concerns, man. I mean, like, if we move back, I don't think that we're going to move back in big jumps. I think we're going to move back in small jumps. I think a lot of people are expecting us to move from like 6 to 18. Honestly, brother, I think we're going to go probably like maybe 6 to 8, then move back like another small jump, 8 to 11. If we see that there's a guy still there, I'd be like 11 to 14, kind of small jumps like that until we are in a position to catch our guy. And those are the things that we have to look at. And I mean, like, here's the thing, and you and I know this right now. Everybody's going like, oh, we're going to move back so many spots. But again, there's other teams trying to move up. So if we feel like our guy's in danger, I think they're going to go ahead and pull the trigger. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I can agree with that. Like, I think, like I said, I don't think we move back from 6 to like 15, 6 to 20, any of those spots. We don't move back that far. Like I said, if we're doing that, we're like I said, we've said it before. It's a rebuild mode at that point. You know what I mean? And we've already said we're not doing that. You know, we're here to win right now. We're here to start now. So if we move back like 1 or 2 spots, it's to secure maybe a second, third round pick, because there's people in the second, third round that we really like, and a lot of people in the draft really like. So I think that could be a good possibility of just keep moving back a little bit at a time and do something like that, 2 or 3 spots at a time until we really feel like we can solidify something that we actually need, and we can pick up the rest of those pieces later on. But I'm not shooting back 4 or 5 spots, getting another first round pick to try to move back up. I don't think we do that. No.
I just look at it like this. We need so many pieces that it's valuable for us to gain more pieces, to trade back, to get better all around. I mean, literally right now, if we look at the Raiders, we need help on the offensive line. We need help at the wide receiver position. We need help at the running back position. We need help at the corner position. We need help at linebacker. We need help at
Well,
defensive line.
how many picks do we have within the top 100? 3? I think we have 3 picks within the top 100. So, I mean, how many of those guys are you going to bring in on that? Like, how many rookies are you going to bring in to start if you're going to pull back and you're going to get 2, 3 second, third round picks, second, third round picks? You know what I mean? How many of those guys are you expecting to start if that's what you're going to do?
Absolutely. Hold on here. Let me see here the picks. Okay, the Raiders in this draft pick have, in the top 100, we have 3 picks. The first
3 picks. So us moving back with the 3 picks in the top 100, those 3 picks should be starting no matter what. So if we go back and we're getting more second and third round picks, who are we going to move out of our starting position to start those guys? If people are saying second and third round picks should be starting. First, second, third round picks should automatically almost start when you're going that high.
Well, I mean, like I said, honestly, even if you go first, second, and third round pick, I mean, like, we have so many holes. We have so many holes, bro. I'll be like, think about it.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
So I think, like, if we move back, what it provides is more ammunition, right? What it does, it gives us the ability to shoot more bullets. I'd be like, maybe we see a guy that falls, maybe we see a guy that somebody makes a mistake on, and we're able to capitalize because we have more ammunition. And right now, with just 3 picks in the first draft, I'd be like, with as many holes as we have, do we see a guy? And I'm going to ask you like this, Matt, do you see anybody that we can draft at number 6 that can come in and change an organization, that can be a guy that can put the organization on their back and make us into a playoff team this year? Do you see a Peyton Manning? Do you see a guy that can do those types of things?
I'm not gonna say that's gonna come out and be like a face of a franchise. No, I think those guys are already gonna be gone by the time it comes to us. Like I think Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are probably
All
the
right.
two best guys out of that class for that. You know what I mean? So I think by the time it comes to us, I don't think there's anybody that's gonna change the face of a franchise like that overnight at number 6. But I think we can find value at 6 for sure, and somebody that can come in and definitely solidify a position at number 6 for years to come.
Absolutely. All right, brother James, I saw that you I think you had a phone call or something that you had to jump off and take. So
Yeah, I'm back.
brother James, at number 6, okay, do you see a player right now in this draft that can put the team on their back, that can make a franchise from a losing franchise into a winning franchise, and a guy that you're willing to bet on and say, hey, that guy's going to be a guy?
I think I have guys that I think are going to be a guy, but I don't really think I see a player that you're going to look at and say, okay, that's definitively like the last piece a team would need to win a Super Bowl. I don't see that guy in this year's draft.
What about Shador?
I mean, Shador is going to be good, but he ain't gonna win no Super Bowl no first year, second year. That's just honestly, he's not gonna. Shador would need, in my opinion, to be a legitimate playoff Super Bowl contender. I would think Shador would need at least 2 solid years of being a starter, minimum.
Okay, so let me check this out real quick. So with Shador, like, because I know you've been saying this all year, right? That
Yeah.
Shador's going to be our number 6 pick. So with what he just said, is Shador worth that number 6 pick after what you just said?
I still think so because I think those 2 years could be spent sitting behind Geno.
So you're going to let him sit for 2 years behind Geno Smith?
No, hey, this has been done before, Matt. This has been done.
Jordan Love,
a quarterback and putting them on the bench and letting him ride behind another quarterback.
I guess, okay, I get that. I get that. But what I'm saying, I get where you're coming from there. But what I'm saying is, like, is he worth that number 6 pick to do that? Or do you move back to try to get him if he falls?
well, I don't think he's falling past New Orleans. That's when New Orleans is Derek Carr's situation. Yeah, I don't see him going past New Orleans. But I am willing to go back for what could possibly be, which is it's up in the air. This is to be proven, but what could possibly be a slightly more well-seasoned Jackson Dart. Again, yet to be proven, but it's possible.
Hey, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, James. Okay. I said it earlier. I know that you had to jump off for the call. So I said I expect the Raiders to wheel and deal, but I don't expect the Raiders to actually trade back and make big jumps. I don't expect them to be like, hey, we're going to go from 6 to 16. I just don't see it that way. What I see is saying, hey, we might move back to 8. Go like, hey, we might go from 6 to 8, from 6 to 7. You said, hey, you don't see them going past 9. Are you willing to go, hey, to number 8? Are you willing to trade back to 8?
I'd be willing to trade back to 8 to see what happens.
Okay. So you think that, hey, still, as long as you're in front of the Saints, you could still draft Shador Sanders. That's your main concern.
Yeah, I don't see the Jets drafting him after they got Fields. I think they gave Fields as a younger guy. I just don't see them drafting someone else at QB. The Panthers, I mean, the Panthers are up in the air, but the Panthers have so many other needs that quarterback would just be a waste of time because they already have Bryce Young on a rookie scale contract.
I think they like him. I think they like Bryce Young. I don't think they go quarterback and at that
So
pick. I don't think they do.
Agreed.
I just
So I
don't.
agree with you on that one. I don't think I have
So
to worry about them.
yeah, I don't see a world where the Jets or the Panthers are willing to do that. Now the only other the team that I think would be really willing to really deal to get our draft pick for Ashton Genty would be the Bears, but the Bears are at pick 10 behind New Orleans. So
So they
I would
you
now,
you would
hold
okay.
on.
I'm listening.
Now,
I'm listening.
if the Bears were willing to offer their first round draft pick, right, and at a minimum, if they're willing to, give us a second round, I would be all in to trade back to 10 and take Dart instead.
Okay. Matt, trade scenario. Would you be willing to pull the trigger on that trade as well?
For which for the Bears or
Yeah, to
at
move
10?
back to 10. And James, give him the offer. Give him what the Bears have to give you.
I would want that. Well, obviously, I'd want their first round pick, and I would want at least their second round pick minimum.
Yeah, I think you'd probably get a little bit more out of it than that. But yeah, I could see that for Genty. But like I said, with the rumors going around about Denver, if they jump up and take him, I mean, at that point, Chicago could just move back. You know what I mean? If that's who they wanted was Genty, or they could go for Marion Hampton if they wanted to. At that point, so they could actually. I just don't know if they would trade back. I don't think it would be a bad trade. I think it would be a good trade if we did that, but I just don't know if the Bears move from that spot if Genty's gone, because then they're at if somebody jumps up for Genty like Denver, then I don't see the Bears pulling a trigger unless they trade back to stockpile more picks for Caleb Williams this year.
Wow. Well, and I mean, like, this is what I see.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Let me finish that real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Will. But yeah, so if they didn't move back and we had the option to get Genty at that point and we wanted to trade back to 10, yeah, because I mean at that point you could probably go Will Johnson if that's who you wanted. At that point, like Will's talking, and then you're also getting a couple more picks on top of that in the second round. So
you see, and I like Will Johnson, but that pick really fucking scares me with that injury history, man.
Yeah, but I mean at 10, with the caliber that he plays at, you're really not reaching on that pick.
I agree. And here's the thing. Again, guys, we're talking about a team with a lot of needs. A lot of things that we need help. So if we move back to 10, what I like about what James says is that if we move back to 10, we need to get the house. We need to get something. And what I see is this. Give me a first and a third. Okay, maybe a first and a second last year. You need to.
Are you just talking about getting their first this year, or are you getting like their first next year?
No.
And a second round this year.
I want a first next year. I want a first one.
All right. So
I want a first next year.
You were just talking about swapping picks, and that's why I was like, well, you're going to get a little more than that. But yeah, okay.
I'd be like, I want them to really entice me, because if Ashton Genty is there, I know how bad you want it. I know how bad the Bears need him. And I know how much ammunition they have in the draft.
I also have a draft day prediction on 2 players I think are going to get traded tomorrow as well. Or traded during the draft at some point.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm like, I think people are gonna get sketched and scared if they have Ashton Genty really high on their board and the Raiders are there at 6. Don't be amazed if the Raiders don't get the bag. I mean, don't be amazed if we don't see the Raiders running out there and getting 2 or 3 picks for their pick.
That's why I said I think a second round will suffice.
I mean, we could actually, like, if that was to happen, we could still. I mean, there's still good running backs out there. So
The running back
they
field
really
is
wanted
deep.
that bad. You could move back and still get you a good running back. You know, you could move back to 10 with the Bears, and you could still get Hampton at that point.
Right, you could get whoever
If you wanted a
want.
running back in the first round. If you wanted a running back in the first round, you could. Yeah, you'd have to pick of the litter after Genty.
Hendrickson.
You could do Etienne. You could, bro. Here's the thing: with more ammunition, you could take more shots. And if you're looking at it with a team, like I said, like our team that has a lot of holes, why not grab more ammo and shoot more bullets? James, you're a big gun guy. More bullets is always a good thing, right? Like it's yeah, sounded like fucking Homer Simpson. But more ammo is always better, especially when you're going to war. And again, we need guys that are going to fill roles, that are going to get deeper, that are going to fulfill those areas. So, man, with the Raiders doing this, I really do believe that moving back to 10, still being able to grab a quality player at 10, at 8, grab more ammunition, fill more roster spots. And it's like Matt said, if you're a first, second, or third round draft pick, you should be a starter on this roster. So guess what? Why wouldn't that happen with this guy, with this draft right now? And if you get 2 more picks, that's 2 more quality starters. James, you said it. We need a linebacker. Why not grab another first rounder or a high second round pick and draft the kid out of USC?
And here's why I'm so high on Carson Schweisner, right? The reason I'm so high on Carson is I think it's Schwessinger. I think that's how you actually say it. I've been butchering his name for weeks. I think it's Carson Schwessinger. I think that's the proper way to say his name. But the reason I'm so high on this guy, right, is because I know everyone is buying into the Jalon Walker hype. I know everyone wants Jalon Walker. I know he's an enticing name, but here's the problem at the end of the day. He does not have a bona fide and certified position on the football field. And that's what stops me from wanting to take him and makes me want to take Schwessinger over him, because Schwessinger obviously knows his position, plays his position, and he does it effectively on every snap. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Okay. Now, before I drop the mic, I'm gonna add to this two players I think are gonna get traded during the draft. These 2 are dead men in my eyes. They're gone. They're gonna be out of there. I don't think they might as well clean out their fucking lockers now. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Michael Mayer. One that probably isn't very surprising, but you go ahead and clean out his lockers. Tell him to go ahead and throw away his fucking cleats and find some new ones, because he ain't gonna be on this team, I don't think. The other guy that's going to surprise people that I'm going to go out on a limb and say is, I think Tyree Wilson has played his last snap in a Raiders jersey.
You are not the first person, Matty B. Brother Rolo, King Rolo, gives me a call earlier today. Okay, I'm gonna fill you guys in, right? If you guys know, if you don't know who King Rolo is the husband of Black Widow. Okay, calls me up. He says, "Will, what are we doing at 6?" And he said, "We got to get rid of Tyree. We got to get rid of this bum." My question goes to this, fellas. Who would trade for Tyree Wilson? Who would ask for him? Who? I'd be like, let's be real. He hasn't done a damn thing. I'd be like, I feel like that cartoon that has the stick that's poking something and it says, do something.
I don't see him getting traded in the draft. If they do, it's for like a 6th or a 7th round pick, in my opinion.
That's what I said.
Like, we ain't
That's
getting
what
very
I
much
said.
out of it.
James.
But hey, to your counter of that, you don't have a position and you want to stay away from him because of that. Take Khalil Mack, for example. Take Micah Parsons, for example. And you tell me that those two players, because they don't have solidified positions, aren't two of the best players at their positions.
Yo, I can agree with that. Hyper athleticism should not be something that you count against a guy. I'd be like, as a defensive coordinator, I will say this. If you're hyper athletic and you can play multiple positions on the field, I'm taking advantage of that.
And not only that, but listen to this. If Travis Hunter fell to us, would you pass on him because of that same reason?
I'm not taking Travis Hunter. I'm letting someone else give me the bag for Travis Hunter.
If Travis Hunter falls to 6, you would pass on Travis Hunter.
I did it in the mock draft.
Wow. Hey, he did. No lie. No, he did do it. He's pulled the trigger once. Matty B, who do you expect? All right, now that Brother James brought it up, who do you expect to see maybe clearing out their locker during this draft? Maybe they have played their last game in silver and black.
I could see Michael Mayer, but I don't know if we do trade him. You know, I think we keep him. In my opinion, you know, he's a 2 tight end set. You know, we have to use our advantages, man, and that's one of our advantages is 2 tight ends that we have. So I don't see us getting rid of him. Wilson, I don't see us, like I said, I don't see us getting anything more than a 6th or 7th for that guy just because of the production that he's put on field. Nobody's going to give you anything for him. You might get a 4th, you know, but that's pushing it. I don't think anybody's going to get traded from the Raiders in this draft, and I don't think we're going to see anybody leave unless they get cut, you know, from off, you know.
Honorable mention.
Honorable. Okay. I'll get, if I have to give you somebody, Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, that's the name I was going to come up with.
Capital for Aiden O'Connell. If it was somebody that we had to pick and choose,
that is my honorable mention. I agree. That is my honorable mention as well.
Bro, you were taking my thunder, bro. Like literally, I was sitting there on Farba. Yo, that's honestly, James, I'm going to tell you right now. I feel Farba has played his last down as a Raider. Like literally, Super Trooper, you're done. You just got fired. You know, this was the situation where you went into the McDonald's and you strangled somebody, just beat them down outside, and you got caught with police brutality, Farva, on the Raiders.
Take your ass to the back. Take your ass to the back and start mixing the Gatorade.
Exactly. So
he walked out and leaves a bar of soap in everybody's coffee.
Do I think Tyree Wilson has played his last down? I'm going to tell you no. The reason I'm saying no is not because I don't believe that, you know, like they don't want to trade him. I don't think we're going to have a trade partner for him. I think we're either going to have to release him or there's just no market for him. I don't see a market for this guy.
Send him to Carolina.
Will Carolina take him? And what is Carolina going to offer?
Carolina don't really have much draft right now, man. They traded all their stuff away to get Bryce Young. So they don't really have capital to be trading away right now. Especially for a guy that's unproven on a field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just don't see Carolina doing it. If it's anybody that does it, man, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a late round draft pick, man. And I just don't see us getting any kind of compensation out of that when it comes down to that. Not for a guy that we spent a first round pick on.
Hey, a late round draft pick it is my boy Trevor Etienne right there. So I'll take it.
No, I could
No
see
one-
that.
Yeah.
I could see that. And honestly, I'll tell you what. There are so many quality players in later parts of this draft that I think there's going to be more players that were drafted in the mid rounds of this draft that become quality stars in 3 to 4 years than at the top of the draft. At the top of this draft, you're going to see more players that are bust, more players that were overhyped, more players that were like, just not quality players that got drafted too early because of the lack of talent at certain positions. Just being straight factual. But, fellas, let them know. We're going to let everybody know now. We're at 30 minutes live now. We did a 30-minute clip, and we're all live. We're all good to go. Tomorrow, we will be going live for the draft. TBH Sacramento will be linked in from their draft party. Wow, they got stuff going in and out. We are working with our brother, the Cisco Kid, to be at the TBH events in Las Vegas. We are working to get TBH Dallas is live event. And I am currently also talking to TBH San Antonio to see if we can't get linked into their live and get their venues. So, y'all stay tuned on this channel. Tomorrow we are going to be going live 30 minutes before the draft. Is that what we're doing, fellas?
I won't be here tomorrow. I have coaching tomorrow, so I won't be here. If I do, it'll be later.
All right.
I could probably do at least 15.
All right. 15 minutes before the draft starts, we will be logged in live. James has said it. Guys, if Shedeur Sanders does not get drafted at 6, we should expect a broken TV live here on this channel. He has put his money in that bag, and we're going to let it ride. All right, fellas. Hey, y'all got anything for our listeners?
Hope to see a TV broken tomorrow.
All right, guys. It's all about one nation. It's all about one team. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and leave everybody with this. There was only one jet flying, limousine riding, Rolex wearing, Hail Mary bomb dropping Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, y'all heard it here first. Yo, it's all about one nation. It's all about one team. It's all about the Raiders.